Here are the moments Hollywood couldn't help but honor Queen Elizabeth II on red carpets, sound stages, and even comedy sets. Number 1. When Hollywood bowed for the real queen. Throughout her reign, Queen Elizabeth II met Hollywood's biggest names with an ease that reminded everyone who the true star was. Her poise outshone their fame, her calm silenced their rehearsed charm. And decades earlier, when a young Elizabeth met Marilyn Monroe in 1956, the actress instinctively curtsied, proof that even in a room full of legends, everyone knew who the real queen was. Number 2. The night Hollywood became a palace. In 1983, Queen Elizabeth II visited the U.S., where 20th Century Fox hosted a formal dinner in her honor on its Los Angeles studio lot. The soundstage was dressed for royalty, complete with film lights, red carpets, and a guest list straight from Hollywood's golden age: Frank Sinatra, Perry Como, Dionne Warwick, and George Burns, and more.
In San Francisco.
Tony Bennett, also his signature "I left my heart in San Francisco" for Queen Elizabeth II at the welcome reception in the Bay Area. Moments that perfectly captured how Hollywood music and monarchy converged. Number 3. When Helen Mirren made the Oscars bow. At the 2007 Academy Awards, Helen Mirren accepted her Best Actress Oscar for the Queen and turned the moment into a heartfelt tribute. She thanked Elizabeth II for her grace and constancy as the audience rose in applause.
If it wasn't for her, I most certainly would not be here. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Queen.
Hollywood's biggest night briefly felt like Westminster Abbey, and the monarch became the evening's invisible guest of honor. Number 4. The crown pauses for a real queen. In 2022, Netflix halted production of The Crown the day the Queen passed away. Creator Peter Morgan called the series a love letter to her, and the cast observed a moment of silence. News outlets around the world replayed the story, Hollywood's ultimate gesture of respect to the woman who inspired its most acclaimed royal drama. But how would Hollywood, a world built on fiction, say goodbye to the woman who defined reality's version of royalty? Number 5. When screens paused and stages sang. The day Queen Elizabeth II passed, the Toronto International Film Festival halted its glitz for a moment of silence, an entire industry bowing mid-celebration. A few hours later, Elton John stopped his Toronto concert to say she had been with me all my life, before playing Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me.
She will be missed, but her spirit lives on, and we celebrate her life tonight with music, okay?
Across the Atlantic, Harry Styles led a quiet ovation at Madison Square Garden.
Join me in a round of applause for 70 years of service.
That night, marquees dimmed, and theaters rolled decades of royal film performance footage, a century of cinema saluting the monarch who made Britain's story a global one. Even Hollywood knew when to lower its lights. Number 6. The night late night stood still. On September 8, 2022, hours after Buckingham Palace confirmed the Queen's passing, Hollywood's late-night shows broke tradition. James Corden opened his Late Late Show monologue with a heartfelt, calling her a guiding light.
Was always the Queen, a guiding light. She was always gracious, always dignified, always a shining example of leadership.
While Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, and Stephen Colbert followed with quiet tributes instead of punchlines. The sound stages known for laughter fell silent, every audience sensing the same shift in history. Number 7. When Los Angeles glowed royal blue. That same night, Los Angeles lit up in her honor. City Hall shimmered in blue and red, echoing the Union Jack against the skyline. Hollywood's home city turned into a cathedral of light for a monarch 5,000 miles away. But beneath all that respectful silence, a question began to surface. When the lights came back on, how would Hollywood's storytellers choose to remember her? Number 8. When The Simpsons made her immortal. Back in 2003, The Simpsons aired the Regina monologues, where Homer crashes straight into the Queen's carriage outside Buckingham Palace. The episode became one of the show's most memorable parodies, and after the Queen's passing in 2022, clips from it resurfaced and spread across social media. Viewers revisited it as a nostalgic, oddly touching reminder of how long she had reigned, even in animation. Number 9. When Hollywood's royal impersonator took the stage. Jeanette Charles spent decades as Hollywood's go-to Queen Elizabeth II. From Austin Powers in Goldmember to The Naked Gun, her uncanny resemblance turned her into a legend. After the Queen's passing, interviews with Charles resurfaced. She said she'd always played Her Majesty with love, not parody. It was a career built entirely on admiration, not imitation. Number 10. When the Empire State Building joined the tribute. While LA shimmered in red and blue, New York City followed with its own salute. The Empire State Building glowed royal purple and silver, a rare, synchronized moment where America's entertainment capitals united in reverence. For one night, Broadway and Hollywood shared the same quiet respect across a continent. Number 11. When The Queen became the blueprint. Years after its release, The Queen still shaped every portrayal that followed, from The Crown to indie biopics. Helen Mirren's performance didn't just define the role, it deepened public understanding of Elizabeth II herself, her restraint, her loneliness, her quiet endurance. Every portrayal that followed, from The Crown to documentaries, echoed that tone. Hollywood stopped trying to reinvent Her Majesty and instead began reflecting her, constant, composed, unmistakably human. But that quiet minute left something unresolved. Hollywood had gone still for her, but could it bring her back in its own way? Number 12. When Netflix brought her back to life. Months after Her Majesty's passing, The Crown released its new season in November 2022. Viewers flooded social media saying it felt like watching history breathe again. The show's renewed popularity after her passing turned streaming into a form of collective remembrance, Hollywood's version of a 21-gun salute, delivered through screens instead of ceremony. Number 13. When The Naked Gun became the internet's favorite tribute. After the Queen's passing, clips from The Naked Gun's 1988 baseball scene, where Leslie Nielsen saves her lookalike from chaos, went viral worldwide. What started as parody became nostalgic affection. Even those too young to remember her reign reposted it, proving that in Hollywood, comedy sometimes outlasts crowns. Number 14. When Bond met the real Queen. At the 2012 London Olympics, Queen Elizabeth II stole the show opposite Daniel Craig's James Bond. Her curt, "Good evening, Mr. Bond," turned the palace into a cinematic stage. Years later, during the Platinum Jubilee celebration, Daniel Craig also paid a heartfelt tribute.
Thank you for your continued presence in our lives, for your leadership.
In one swift moment, the monarch proved, you don't need special effects when you already hold attention. Number 15. Thrones without the throne. During her 2014 visit to Northern Ireland, Queen Elizabeth II toured the Game of Thrones set in Belfast, home to one of Hollywood's biggest global exports. The cast proudly invited her to sit on the Iron Throne. She smiled, admired it, and declined. The gesture became legend. A real queen refusing a fantasy crown? Apparently, she wasn't allowed to sit on a foreign throne. Number 16. The final curtain call. When the news of Queen Elizabeth II's passing hit Hollywood, the tributes didn't stop with tweets or city lights. They kept unfolding through art. British networks announced new memorial documentaries within days, weaving her words and legacy into fresh tributes. And even years later, Hollywood kept honoring her. News surfaced that archival footage of the Queen would appear in an upcoming Paddington Major, proving her on-screen reign continues long after the curtain fell. Number 17. When BAFTA bowed back.
Your, as John says, sensational appearance at the opening ceremony of last year's London Olympics was especially...
In 2013, the British Academy of Film and Television Arts presented Queen Elizabeth II with its highest honor, an honorary BAFTA for her lifelong support of British cinema. The ceremony at Windsor Castle saw Sir Kenneth Branagh thank her for being the most memorable Bond girl yet, nodding to her 2012 Olympic cameo. When she passed in 2022, BAFTA's tribute called her a tireless champion of the arts who brought the world together through storytelling. It was a rare full-circle moment, Hollywood's craft honoring the monarch who had, for decades, made British film part of her nation's global voice. Number 18. When Helen Mirren returned for one last salute.
You were our nation's leading star. On behalf of BAFTA, thank you for all that you have done for our film and television industry.
At the 2023 BAFTA Awards, Helen Mirren stood before a silent audience to lead an official tribute to the late monarch. Her voice trembled slightly as she said, "Cinema owes her a debt." It was the full-circle moment, Hollywood's most acclaimed queen honoring the real one who inspired her crown. And that's how Hollywood kept its longest-running royal cameo alive. From the backlots of Fox to the glow of TikTok screens, Queen Elizabeth II's legacy became part of the script. If you love this story, hit like, subscribe to What, and ring the bell so you never miss the next royal deep dive. Now tap the video on your screen. The next story's already waiting.